Assalamu alaikum, distinguished students. Mr. Adi is back again with another lesson which is called negative questions. Okay, when it comes to negative question is mentioned in the book Sunrise 12, Unit 2, Lesson 1. Okay, negative question. How do we use it? Let's see how do we use negative questions. So when it comes to negative questions, we have a few things to talk about here. Let's start from the beginning. Okay, negative question. When it comes to present simple first time, let's talk about present simple. If we have present simple negative question, we use doesn't or don't. If it's present, either doesn't or don't. And don't forget, when it comes to a verb to do, did, does, they're always followed by infinitive form, okay? They're always followed by infinitive form. So when you change it to don't or doesn't, you need to use infinitive form, okay? You need to use infinitive form. So for example, look at here. Doesn't, don't, plus subject, plus verb infinitive. And this one is question. That's why we call it negative question. How do you know it's present simple? This rule is used when we have either verb s or verb without s base, for example. Look at here. She works in the bank. Works, right? She works in the bank. So since we have s, you know that it's present simple because it says the rule is used when we have either verb s or verb base. So in this case, we have works. If we have works, that means we use doesn't, he, she, it, we use doesn't. Since we have she, so what do we say? Doesn't she work? Not works. So when we have doesn't, you drop s. We don't use s again, okay? You drop s. She works in the bank. Doesn't she work in the bank? Doesn't she work in the bank? This is how we change it to negative question. Lara gets up late at the weekends, for example, or Sam gets up late at the weekends, or Ali gets up late at the weekends. So no matter what this is, just take a look. Since we have s, when we have s, we use doesn't. Okay, when we have s, we use doesn't. No s, we use don't. In present simple. Okay, in present simple. Since we have s, doesn't she get up? Not gets up. Okay, because what we have s here, so we drop the other s. We have does s here, we drop the other s. So in this case, we say, doesn't she get up late at the weekends? All right. Sam and San take notes in the class. Sam and San, both of them, take notes in the class. Look at here. We said when we have s, but this s is on the noun. We're not talking about noun. We're talking about third person singular s. Well done. So that's why it must have been takes. If it was takes, then we would probably say doesn't. But here we have Sam and San, so we have they here. What do we say? We say don't. Don't they take notes in the class? Don't they take notes in the class? We have also this one, let's say. We wear suit to the party. We wear suit to the party. Since we have we and its base, how do you know it's present simple? We said we either have s linked to the verb or without s. That means it's a base form. So in this case, we say, don't we? Since we have we use don't. Don't we wear suit to the party? So for example, don't, we say don't they, don't we, don't you, okay? And don't I, even the word I would be the same. What about doesn't? We say doesn't she, doesn't he, doesn't it. Okay, like this. We can use it this way when it comes to present simple, negative question. Okay, what about negative question in the past with main verb? Okay, we are talking about main verb here. The rule is used when we have these words. How do you know the sentence is past simple? How do you know it's past simple? When we have either of those. So for example, when we have the word yesterday, ago, last, you know that it's past simple. Or we can also say when we have ed or irregular verbs, as we talked about in the previous lesson. We have talked about past simple in the previous lesson. We have talked about it, so you may check it out on YouTube so that you know what past simple is. So past simple to change it to negative. All right. When you change past simple to negative, the only thing you need is the word didn't. And we said do, did, does, they're always followed by infinitive. Don't forget it's followed by infinitive form. That means we call it base. Okay. How do you know it's present simple? When we have s or without s, right? Third person singulars without it. How do you know it's past simple? Very good. When we either have any of the time markers that we just mentioned, for example, yesterday, last, ago, or other time markers that we talked about in the other lesson. Also, when we have ed or irregular verbs, past irregular verbs, let's say. Let's take a look of this example. Okay, so your brother went to London. Didn't he go to London? Like this. So since we have went here, so look at here, verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. Go, went, gone, or been, okay? Gone or been. So when we change it to negative question, in this case, when we change it to negative question, you need to use infinitive form. What's infinitive form? Is the verb itself without any prefix or suffixes. Okay, so for example, go. Didn't he go to London? Liam lit the candle. Lit is verb 2. To change didn't Liam light the candle? Didn't Liam light the candle? Because it's like this. Verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. Present, past, and past participle. Light. To change it to negative, this is the infinitive form. Lit, lit. Okay? This is past. All right? So it's like this. Okay, what about this one when we have future, negative question when it comes to future, or with modal verbs, let's say. We use the modal verbs plus not, okay, subject and plus infinitive. Don't forget, verb to do, did, does, they're always followed by infinitive, and modal verbs are also always followed by infinitive, which we call it base. They're always followed by infinitive. Don't forget this. So for example, they will come to the party. They will come to the party. Will becomes will not, right? Will not. But we use contraction form, which becomes won't. They won't come to the party. If changed to negative. What about if you change it to negative question? We say, won't they come to the party? So this one stays the same without changing. Won't they come to the party? If it was won't they came to the party, this would be wrong. It must be come. Okay. Another thing, Layla could do her homework. You just add not, so we say couldn't she do her homework? Couldn't she do her homework? Like this. Okay. Another, he would like to learn another language. He would like to learn another language. So with, we say, wouldn't he like to learn another language? Wouldn't he? So we put this one at the beginning of the sentence, and then we add not to it, plus subject, wouldn't he, plus infinitive form or base, complement, and then question mark, of course, which is very important. Wouldn't he like to learn another language? Like this, to change it to negative question. Okay. What about this one? Negative question in present perfect. All right. So when it comes to negative question using in present perfect, we use it like this. Look at here. We use it like this. For example, present perfect or past perfect, when we change it to negative, we need hasn't, haven't, hadn't. Hasn't when we have he, she, it, right? Or singular nouns. Haven't, I, we, you, they, or plural nouns. And hadn't could be used for all the subjects. Pronouns, subject pronouns. She has worked in London. She has worked in London. So hasn't she, okay? Hasn't she worked in London? When it comes to question, if we have a sentence, try to do a cross and then like this, you can do it. You put this one in the front and then you put this one next to each other. So like this. She has, hasn't she, okay? To change it to question. Very good. The other one, Layla and Sam have been married for 2 years. So since we have the word have, you put it to the front and then you change it to negative. Since we have negative question, we say haven't they been married? Haven't they been married? Layla and Sam, we say they. Haven't they been married? Sana has taken a lot of photos. Hasn't she taken a lot of photos or any photos? Even a lot of is also correct. Okay? Hasn't she taken any photos? All right. We can also use it with here, this one, negative question in past simple or present simple, for example. Look at here. Isn't, aren't, wasn't, weren't. It could be followed by either verb ing or noun, okay? It's followed by noun or verb ing. So for example, they were outside. They were outside. You do a cross, don't forget that. Remember that. All right, then remember this. We say, very good. We change this one. We say they were. We change it to weren't they, since it's negative. Weren't they? She's disappointed, isn't she? Disappointed, isn't she? Disappointed. Be careful. This one is adjective. Okay. This one is ed adjective. Okay, very good. What about this one? Here we have has to, have to, had to. How do we use it? Don't forget this. This is very important, and it's a bit tricky. Be careful. It's a bit tricky. So for example, if we have the word have to, okay, if we have to, if we have has to, had to, all of them, when it comes to negative question, we use have to. Okay? Doesn't she have to? Doesn't he have to? Don't they have to? Didn't they have to? So all of them would be have to. Okay? And then they're followed by infinitive form. Don't forget that one as well. You have to review for the exam. Don't you have to revise for the exam? Don't you have to revise for the exam? Don't forget subject, doesn't, don't, didn't, plus subject, then have to, not have to, plus subject. So not don't have to you, don't you have to. Lana has to study hard. Doesn't she have to study hard? Doesn't she have to study hard? Okay, they had to sleep early. Didn't they have to sleep early? Like this. Okay, let me give you one example. Could you do it? Could you do this? I want you to do this. So for example, she has to work hard. Okay. Now I want you to change this one to negative. Question. Negative question. First of all, look at here. Since we have has, we need doesn't, right? Okay, doesn't she? And if you remember, we said we use have to for all the negative question forms when it comes to have to, has to, had to. So we say, doesn't she have to work hard? Doesn't she have to work hard? Something is missing, which is question mark. Okay, we do it like this. Okay. The first one, can she pass the exam? Is it negative question? Since we don't have negative, that means it's not. We couldn't cross the river. Is it negative question? It's negative, but is it question? We have question mark, but is it correctly ordered? Do we start questions like this? It must have been couldn't we, right? It must have been couldn't we. So that means it's not. It is negative, but it's not negative question. Okay, be careful. Don't understand. Where's question mark? Where's subject? It's not negative question as well. Can't he swim in the lake? We have modal verb followed by subject followed by infinitive. It's a very correct negative question. Okay, well done. Number 3. Nice to paint that wool white. This is from 2020 preliminary exam, let's say. Nice to paint that wool white. Which one do you think is correct? Okay, look at here. We have this one. Can't it being. Modal verb, we use infinitive form. This is wrong. Wouldn't it be? Haven't it been? Do we use have with it? It must have been hasn't it. So that means this is also wrong. Isn't it be? Isn't it be? Do we have this kind of things in English? This one is also verb be. So do we have be after them? Be is not followed by them. It's mostly followed by modal verbs. So that means this one is wrong. Would is modal verb. Wouldn't it be nice to paint the wool white? So D is the correct answer. Very good. What about number 4? You do it. Had anywhere to go. It's from 2019, second trial or term. All right. Choose something that's completely wrong. Look at here. Hasn't we? Do we use hasn't with we? No. We don't use it. Haven't you? This one is correct, but wait. Aren't your friend? Your friend is singular. Is one. Isn't your friend, not aren't. Am I right? So it's one friend. It's not friends. Don't you? Had. Do we use do, did, does with had? No. So in this case, haven't you had anywhere to go? Haven't you had anywhere to go? So A is the correct answer. Okay? Very good. What about number 5? Why don't we go out for a meal? This type of sentence is a what? From 2019, first trial. What is it? Why don't we go out for a meal? Okay, is it negative question? Is it yes, no question? Is it WS question or both A and C? Take a look. Is it negative question? Look at here. We have question here and it started with question. That means it is negative question. Is it yes, no question? It's not yes, no question, right? Why is it not a yes, no question? Why? Because it starts with WH, it's WH question. So which answer is correct? Both. A and C, both of them, right? Both of them would be the correct answer. Very good. What about number 6? What do you think? Which one do you think is correct? Why the house yourself it's better. Why the house yourself it's better. 2018. Okay, let's choose something that's completely wrong. Doesn't you? Do we use doesn't you or don't you? Doesn't you is wrong. B, aren't you decorated? D, didn't you decorating? With do, did, does, we use infinitive. Do you remember? We said infinitive is what? Base is what? No ed, no ing, no s, no pp, right? So this one is ing. We don't use it. Do, did, does are always followed by infinitive. That means this one is wrong, this one is wrong. These two. Don't you decorate? Aren't you decorated? This one could be correct when we have passive voice, right? But let's see. Why aren't you decorated the house yourself? Okay? This is not about passive voice. Why don't you decorate the house yourself? This one is active voice, so we use don't you decorate. Okay? All right. What about number 7? Number 7. Number 7, okay. Sorry. Number 7. What do you think? You might be wrong. Don't you considering? Haven't you considered? Won't you consider? Isn't she considerous? Look at here. These are all about the rules and how it's structured. Won't is modal verb. It's always followed by infinitive. Is it infinitive? It's ed. That means it's wrong. Isn't she considers? Do we use s with negative? No. Even if it was doesn't, it would still be wrong. Okay. Don't you considering? Do we use ing with this? With a do, did, does? No. So which one is correct? C is the correct answer. Well done. Perfect. Number 8. Why going to the English class? Which one do you think is correct? Do you think this one is correct? Don't he? It's wrong. We say doesn't he, not don't he. Okay, drop it. First, try to choose something that's completely wrong. Not choose something, sorry. First, drop the thing that is completely wrong. Didn't you, doesn't he, aren't you? Okay, we have going to. Okay, with going to, what do we use? Why aren't you going to the English class, or why don't you going to? Don't you going to? No. With going to, we use verb be, so it must be why aren't you going to the English class? Didn't you? Going to is future, right? This one is wrong. And this one, doesn't he, this would still be wrong since it's about future. Which negative question is correctly formed? Which negative question is correctly formed? Didn't you finish your homework? Why you didn't finish it? Computer games aren't amazing. Haven't studied before a long time. Which one do you think is correct negative question? Okay. This one, let's start with the second one. Why you didn't finish? Or why didn't you finish? It must have been like this, right? Why didn't you finish? Wrong. Computer games aren't amazing. It is negative, but it's not negative question. It must have been, aren't computer games amazing or interesting? So wrong. It is question, but it's not negative question. It's negative, but not negative question. Haven't studied it before a long time? Haven't studied what? Before a long time. That's also wrong. Which one is correct? Did you finish your homework? It didn't, followed by infinitive form, so it would be correct. Okay. Now, let's do number 10. Okay, number 10. Number 10. me alone, I'll be alright, okay? You do it. This one is a little bit easy if you have mastered the rule or the structures that we were talking about a while ago, that we talked about, let's say. Modal verbs are always followed by infinitive. Can is modal verb. Can you left or leave? Can you leave? So left is not infinitive. Will you leaving? We said infinitive form is what? No ed, no ing, neither pp. So this is ing. This one is also wrong. Can't you leave? Don't you left? They're always followed by infinitive. Do, did, does. Always infinitive. This one is left. It's not infinitive. It's leave, left, left, right? Verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. So it would be like this, okay? So in this case, what do we say? Can't you leave me alone? Can't you, C. Can't you leave me alone? This would be the correct answer. What about number 11? We will miss the bus if we don't go faster. We will miss the bus if we don't go faster. Okay. It's all about structure. It's all about structure. With does, we don't use ing. Wrong. With haven't, we don't use infinitive. We use what? PP. Wrong. With verb, we don't use is. Verb B is always followed by, is either followed by ing or noun or adjective, things like this. But this one is infinitive. That's wrong. Don't you understand? This one is correct. Why? It's negative first, and it's also infinitive, which is called base. Okay? So don't you understand would be correct. All right, number 12. Which one do you think is a negative sentence? Number 12, you do it. While you're taking notes, and tell me which one do you think is negative sentence. Look at here. You should be at school. Okay? You should be at school, shouldn't you? You don't have to be at school. Shouldn't you be at school? Both A and B. Look at here. You should be at school, shouldn't you? This one is it negative question? A negative sentence? If we're talking about negative sentence, it's another case than negative questions. Okay. Which one is correct? Negative question. You should be at school, shouldn't you? This is what? Tag question. So A is not correct. B, shouldn't you be at school? C, you don't have to be at school. This one, you don't have to be at school, it's just negative. It's not negative question. It must have been, don't you have to be at school? So this one wrong, this one wrong. This one is also wrong. Shouldn't you be at school? This one is correct. Negative question. Correct, negative question. Not only negative, negative question. Number 13. The teachers have to explain the subjects. The correct negative question is, which one is correct negative question? Haven't the teachers explained the subjects? With haven't, we need PP. Where's PP? There's no PP. Explain, it must have been explained. It must have been ED, so that means this is wrong. B, didn't the teachers have to explain the subjects? Didn't is correct. So we said this one is wrong because it's not followed by PP. What about this one, B? Didn't the teachers have to explain the subjects? Okay, let's see about this one. Wait, let's wait. Don't the teachers have to explain the subjects? Okay, let's wait for this. Don't the teachers explain? Do we use ED with this? No, we don't use it. Now let's take a look of these two. Okay, the teachers have to explain. The teachers have to explain. Look at here. Is it present or past? Here, if it was had to, it would have been past. So these two are both correct. But according to the sentence, since it's present, didn't is wrong. So don't would be the correct answer. Okay? Don't would be the correct answer because of the sentence. So be careful. Sometimes these kind of questions come out in the exam. So be careful. You go back to the question, is it present or past? Then you decide, because these two are both correctly formed. Okay? Now, let's go to number 14. Okay, number 14. Which sentence expresses negative question? Which sentence expresses negative question? Number 14. Okay. The first one, didn't fail your last test. The second one, can't you leaving me alone? You aren't a bit too relaxed. Didn't you had to revise? Okay. I said, first of all, try to choose, or let's say drop out or drop which one is completely wrong. With modal verbs, we never use ing. They're always followed by infinitive. So that means this is wrong. Didn't you? If you remember, we said didn't you, doesn't she, don't they? They're always with have to, not had to. We don't have had to when it comes to negative question. So this one is also wrong. We have had to in the positive form. They had to. But then when you change it to negative question, you say don't they have to, okay? So these two are wrong. Let's come to these two. You aren't a bit too relaxed. You're a bit too relaxed, okay? What about this one? Didn't fail your last tests. Didn't fail your last tests. Didn't what fail? If it was didn't he, didn't she, something like this, it would be correct. You aren't a bit too relaxed. You aren't a bit too relaxed. So do you think this one, this is something missing probably here, it must be he, something like this. Do you think this one is negative question? Sometimes it could be somehow confusing or tricky. Why? They have put question mark here so that trick you. Okay, they play a trick on the students. But that's not a negative question. Why? Because if you remember, we said negative question starts with aren't you, not you aren't. It is negative, but it's not negative question. So be careful. So this one would be the correct answer. Didn't he fail? Didn't they fail? Something like this. Something is missing here. So it must be this one, of course. Number 15. Choose the correct sentence. 23, third trial. Which one is correct? Hadn't he passed the exam with high marks? Negative question. It was said that the citadel contained a lot of treasure. Active voice. He could be in the bank. Certainty. You would better work hard for your future. Suggestion. Choose the correct sentence. Which one do you think is correct? First of all, this one, it's negative question. It's correct, right? Hadn't he passed the exams with high marks? Is it correct? Hadn't he? Hadn't he passed? It's correct. It was said that the citadel contained a lot of treasure. Okay? It was said that. It's not active voice. He could be in the park. It's not certainty. You would better work hard for your future. It's not suggestion. It's instruction. You would better. You had better. We don't use it with suggestion. The last one, Joy is late for training at the football club, which starts at 5, football training by 5. Which one do you think is correct? Doesn't he has to be? Doesn't he has to be? Doesn't he, doesn't, don't, didn't. We said we don't have has. It must be have. Wrong. Didn't he have to be? This one is correct, but wait. Doesn't he been? No, they're always followed by base. Been is not base. Hadn't he? With had, we need PP. Hadn't he have to be? Okay, wait a minute. This time, these two are correct, right? These two are correct. Didn't he have to be? Didn't he have to be? And hadn't he have to be? These two are both correct, right? Okay. So this one, didn't he have to be? This one, didn't he have to be? Do you think these two are both correct? Yes, both of them are correct, but there's a little, what do you call, a slight mistake. Be careful. These kind of mistakes. This is very confusing. If you remember, we said with have to, has to, had to. How do we change it to negative question? With didn't, not hadn't. Right? Yes, now you remembered. This is wrong. This is the correct answer. Didn't he have to be? Okay. Okay, dear students, we have come to the end of this lesson, which is called Negative Question in Unit 2, Lesson 1. We have covered everything today, and we have covered also some Zhyar National Exam questions. Thank you very much for watching and for being with us, and see you in the next video. Stay tuned.